Hello, beautiful people. This is Marisa Anglade, and I want to do a series on preparedness. I talked about it briefly on a previous video and how more people are talking about being prepared for something. Right now, we're at war. You can basically say we're at war. And what that can mean for us is that higher prices at the gas pump in grocery stores, and that can impact our budget, right? That can impact how we navigate financially because it's an extra expense that we did not foretell was going to be a problem for us. Also, the things that can happen if you're using credit cards, your interest might get higher or the amount that you have may be decreased because the credit card companies are looking out for themselves and they know the trend when things like war happens and people are using their credit cards more, they have to make some decisions that benefit them. So going through financial hardship because of war, higher inflation, or even job loss can have us in a place where we should think about how do we plan, how do we prepare, how do we move forward. And so in preparedness as relates to high inflation, economic downturn, what can we do to navigate and still keep our heads intact? Well, here are some options. One thing that I would recommend is buying bulk. Shop around in places that sell bulk, especially bulk grains, dry items like beans, flour if you bake, and rice, all your grains, your beans, your legumes, and your flour, or even pasta. Those are dry items, and you want to buy them in bulk. Usually, these are items that are not highly expensive, depending on type of grain that you purchase, as well as they have longer shelf life. And so it keeps you from going to the store regularly. So we're going to try to focus on the things that we need. The luxuries are held back for right now and focusing on the things that you need. You need grains, you need vegetables, and you need fruits. And how you purchase those and what you purchase can determine on your budget and what you can afford. But we're going to focus now first on buying bulk and with your dry items. Shop around and for farmers market, your local stores like Costco, check even with Walmart, compare prices. Don't just buy. You can even go online to compare prices, so you don't have to have to drive everywhere to see who's cheaper. That's an option as well. Just make sure you're getting a big bang for your buck. There's also grocery outlets that might be a help as well. So you want to make sure you're doing an inventory of where to go and how much are you getting for the price you're getting it at. So definitely buy bulk to eliminate or decrease the amount of time you go to the store. The second thing that you want to look into is canned items, hopefully PBA free, but at this point it's survival. But we want to consider health as well. If you can, I would recommend taking up a skill like canning your foods. Buying frozen also is another option. Buying bulk frozen foods and canning them yourselves. You don't have to just buy canned items. You can can your bulk frozen corn, your bulk frozen peas, and your bulk frozen carrots. And you can also, if you're buying produce like potatoes in bulk, a box of potatoes, you can can those as well. And potatoes last a little longer outside the refrigerator. Can last long outside the refrigerator to a certain extent, but you also can can it. So let's go back. Bulk dried items, your grains, your legumes, your flours, your pastas. Okay. Then you can look into canned items as well for longer shelf life, as well as canning yourself. You can also buy bulk foods that are frozen, that you can freeze them or you can can them. And if you have a dehydrator, you can dry them too, and then put them in a mason jar. So that's your food. Now, the next thing as related to food is gardening. Gardening and growing things that you actually eat, and growing things that does well in your area. And sometimes you won't know if you try it. But that's another skill that I would say to add on to your plate. Canning as well as gardening if you don't already. So gardening is something that you can do. You don't have to grow everything, but you want to grow staple foods that do well, foods that have a long shelf life also if you're not going to can right away. or freeze as well, and things that you will enjoy eating, right? It's also good to always think about bartering as well. Not yet. So that's something that you can add as relates to food. Now with gardening, it saves you on money. It saves you on a trip to the store. It saves you on an extra expense. If you don't do well as starting with seedlings, there are nurseries. I wouldn't say focus only on Walmart or Lowe's or Home Depot. Go to your local nursery. They're normally cheaper than you going to a Lowe's and a Walmart or a Home Depot for your garden plants, your edible garden plants. So try your local nursery they usually give like a tray, like you can fill up a tray and you might pay maybe $23 or something like that for several edible plants. So just keep that in mind. So we talked about gardening. The next thing is you can co-op. You can create your own co-op. And that means if there are farmers that you can buy, you can see if you can buy bulk from them as well. Seeing people that might kind of pinpointing all the farms and farmers that are near your area that grow produce that you can shop from, and partner with your family members. And that could be anywhere. It could be locally, it could be a little bit of a distance. But if you could partner with friends or family and buy in bulk items where you can split the price and the amount of items that is in there, that would also lower the cost. What my sisters and I did is that we bought a list of produce, and we bought broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, chayote, which in Creole is called militon. We bought oranges. We bought lemon. We bought sweet potatoes. What else? I think I mentioned broccoli as another vegetable. We bought a box of apples, a box of pears, and a box of kale. That's quite a few items. And we bought boxes of all of these items. I'm probably missing a couple. And what we did, we split it 3 ways, and we split the cost 3 ways. When I tell you we have a lot of food, we bought a box of banana. So we did quite a few boxes of fruits and vegetables. We didn't have to do grains because we all bought grains in bulk already for our individual home. All we was coming together for was the fruits and vegetables, our produce, because we're constantly going to the grocery store for that. And when you go to the grocery store, you find yourself getting more items that you didn't plan. A chip here, a bread there, just because, right? Because we still need discipline. And so because of that, because we had so much, we only paid about $200, a little over to be exact, I think it was $220. And we have enough produce to last us a whole month between freezing it, canning it, and putting it in the refrigerator. We have produce to last us a whole month. So let's say something happened where we were snowed in, or something happened where we have to be stuck at home. We don't have to go to the store for any food items. We have our fresh items, we have our canned items. And so that's something else that you can do. So what we talked about buying bulk, comparing prices with other areas or stores that offer bulk. We talked about also buying canned items, dry items, canned items, frozen items. We talked about growing your food, learning a skill like gardening and canning, and dehydrating if you don't know that already. We talked about partnering with family and friends and bringing your monies together to buy more where you can get more versus going to the store by yourself and spending $220 and not seeing what you really got for your buck. So those are just a few things that you can do to manage my son playing with the dog. Managing how you spend money for your food. Food is also the next big bill, the biggest bill after your rent or mortgage. So that's something that you want to consider. That's something you want to consider as we navigate through, for some people, financial hardship, for tight wallet because things are much higher. And so we want to definitely think out the box, and we want to think before we act. Write down what you purchase. What are foods that you really eat, and what foods you can do away with. And we'll talk about cooking from scratch, right? We definitely want to cook from scratch because it's cheaper than buying out. Of course, that affects
like making your own eggs.
Vegan eggs. He just gave me an idea of what I need to bring up. No more interruptions. What was I was talking about cooking from scratch. You want to do that, limit eating out, and when you're going out, just to make sure you don't pack your food to go with you. We've been doing that more lately. Packing our meals when we know that we're going to be heading out, keeping stuff like a little snack in the car, just to hold us till we get home is another idea if you didn't have time to put something together. But also, if you do eat eggs, you can get chickens, right? As a vegan, I'm not promoting eating eggs, but as a producer who is getting ready to get some chickens tomorrow so we can get eggs, it's just something that we're incorporating in our homestead, and for my son to learn as well and to make a little income. And so that's another thing. Talk about how to make me little side income to add a little extra to your wallet. But you can also have chickens, right? To have chickens to produce your own eggs. So that's something else that you may not have to buy in the store, if you have the space for that, right? Or partner with people that do have chickens and bartering with them. I'll give you this. I'll make you bread if you give me chickens. So creating a bartering system as well is another way that you can save money. Somebody may be able to have that has something, that able to do something that you might support somebody that's local. They might sell bread for a decent price versus you going to the store, or bartering with the person that sells bread and give them eggs if they don't have chicken. Guys, we're going to have to think outside the box to make this work smoothly out for everyone, and not having to stress about stress about anything financial, at least when it relates to food. The lights may get cut off, but we gonna eat, right? So until next time, be prepared, be whole, be safe.